Today on the Sunday Sit Down Asubi, we have someone whose passport tells stories as beautifully as she does. Our guest Nirali is a traveler at heart, someone who sees the world not just as a map of places to visit, but as a canvas filled with perspectives, lessons, and human connections. From spontaneous trips that turned into life changing memories to thoughtful journeys that reshaped the way she looks at people, culture, and herself, Nirali's experiences remind us that how transformative travel can be. She is the kind of person who can make any city feel familiar, who finds meaning in the smallest of moments, and who lives her 20s with a sense of curiosity, courage, and intention. Today, we'll dive into her journey, the highs, the lessons, the laughs, the magic that only a true explorer carries with her. So please welcome Nirali to episode 5 of the Sunday Sit Down with Subi. Hello, Nirali. Welcome to the Sunday Sit Down with Subi. So, how does it feel to be part of this podcast?
It's the first podcast of my life. I never thought I would get such an opportunity. So really excited. Like in my family also, I explained what is podcast to my mom and dad. They're like, oh, it's good that friends are doing something like this out of the daily life. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. So I'll explain you the format of the show. So herein, like we have three segments. In the first segment, I basically ask guests questions related to certain topics drawn from their own life journey. And in the second segment, I'll be asking some questions wherein you can reflect on your life lessons in 20s and can enlighten us. And in the third segment, I'll be asking some light-hearted questions wherein I'm expecting you give some funny answers which make me as well as the audience laugh. So yeah, and in the first segment, usually I ask guests related to various topics from different walks of life. But with you, I'm specifically going to focus on travel because I have known you for almost 2 decades. I know as a person like how frequently you travel, how much love and passion you have for travel, and then you have like covered so many countries and so many places within India as well. So I wanted to give that wide experience and knowledge to our audience and to the world. So let's start. So what inspired you to start traveling? Like, was there some specific trip that started it all, or like, if you can just let us know, like, where did this passion for traveling begin?
So people normally assume that I've been traveling since ages, but it all started during a vacation in the COVID period. So during that time, it was a 1 month long vacation I did, and I'd met new people, discovered a lot of new places, and that just opened some doors. And after that, there was no looking back. I just craved traveling after some time, and after that, I've been just traveling nonstop.
I think COVID changed life for so many of us. Like a lot of people started their some business or passion or something that they did not get like time to do earlier. But then that sort of like free time that we got in COVID, it gave us time to reflect like what our passion is and try exploring something. And then I'm happy that you got a chance to explore this side of yours. Okay. Is there any destination that changed your perspective on life?
Not a destination, I would say, rather an experience. I did my first scuba dive in Phuket and then just completely fell in love with the underwater world. I just love that silence, that beauty, and it just made me realize how small part I play in the cosmos of the world. And I would just like it, just I would like to go back to it after, it's like going it was out of my comfort zone going underwater world because I know swimming but not that well, but going under the water, going out of my routine, mundane life, it just took me out, and it just that image of the underwater world is just stuck in my mind, and yeah, I'd like to keep going back whenever I get a chance.
Like, yes, the feeling of being underwater in the ocean is so surreal. It's so humbling. You feel just very tiny, as part of this big world. Of course, I think it's also feels like a meditation. I believe in movies Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, like Katrina Kaif says, like it's meditation. It's like, to be under the water. I think after that scuba diving experience,
That Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, that quote was what was, ringing in my head as well. It just opens a new chapter in your life.
yeah, that's so true. So is there like what's the criteria to choose the next destination? Is it like instinct, mood, or you do some research?
I think initially, when I had not traveled much, I would mostly go on my instinct, like what is my mood, where I want to go, and I would just book through things. But now I have just traveled some part, so now I do some careful research. I just check what all experiences the place has to offer and what I want to do in my current that phase of my life, and then I book. So not impromptu much, but I do leave some space of not planning a day or something so that I can, explore and keep my plan flexible.
Yeah, interesting. So do you travel solo or you prefer traveling with some company?
Uh, I think now I can say I actually enjoy both. Solo traveling gives me a lot of freedom. I don't need to check with anyone. Can stick to my routine and be open to any changes. And but at the same time, I am on my feet. I need to figure everything on my own. So being in a company, and I'm very picky. So being in a company just makes the whole trip very wholesome and it's more fun. And obviously, it's also very cost effective when you have a group of friends where you can go together.
Yeah, that is there. Yeah, but as you said, like solo makes you independent, and then when you travel with some company, it's more enjoyable. You make memories. So yeah, I think both have some positives. So yeah, definitely makes sense. So would you like to give? So have you ever had any unforgettable experience while traveling on the road? And would you like to share that?
Experiences, there are many. Cannot pick one, but top of my head, again going back to my scuba dive experience, it was my birthday, it was my final dive, and I got to see whale shark. So whale sharks are very huge, and it was very in its own world. Like we were like 5 to 6 divers around it, and just that whole image was like freezed in my mind. More of a blessing than a sight, but it was a very unique experience because out of 50 or 60 divers, we were just 5, 6 select lucky few who got to see the whale sharks because they are not very common in that region. So that is one. And the second would be like capturing Milky Way on my travel to Spiti. So it was very, very windy, very cold. But at the same time, the sky was very clear, full of stars. So I did not mind the cold and just seeing the whole Milky Way with my own eyes. Like I've seen, studied in geography or seen in Google or Nat Geo, but experiencing with my own naked eyes, it was very mesmerizing, and like it's stuck in my head. In my head, like it's just yesterday I went to Spiti and just wow.
Yeah, I mean, these two both are very incredible experiences, right? Very different, but very incredible. Like one is about diving, and then seeing shark, and then the other one is like completely mesmerizing view of the entire sky and about the entire surrounding, right? Yeah, that's amazing. Have you ever experienced in any of your travels like a kindest thing that a stranger has done for you?
There are many, many. I mean, when initially I started doing solo travels, and people would say, be careful, don't talk to anyone, and so on and so forth. But I have been blessed that all my travels I have met such beautiful people that like somewhere I'm like on treks. There have been strangers who are motivating me to complete treks. People who like my phone died, I'm lost in the city. People are helping me using their Google Maps and Google Translate so that I can reach my next destination or reach my hostel, or people who have taken time off their own plans to show me around if like they are locals. So yeah, I would say when you are traveling, it just brings out a beautiful part of the people and just like it just makes me believe humanity still exists. And yeah, that,
especially being a girl, right? A lot of people are helping. That shows the beautiful side of humanity. So yeah, like you mentioned, I know, since I've known you personally like for a very long time, I know you have been staying in hostels. So that makes you stay with a lot of people, right? A lot of strangers. So have you experienced any like any kind things that they have done for you, like in any of your hostel stays?
I think what I can think of is one of my travels was I did not plan that trip at all. I
Hmm.
wanted to go. It was an
Hmm.
impromptu initial phase. So it was an impromptu travel. And now I wanted to travel that. It was Sikkim. And now to go anywhere in Sikkim, you had to have a local transport or a vehicle. You cannot drive over there. It's all ghat. So you cannot drive. You need
Hmm.
special permits to travel anywhere out of Sikkim. And
Yeah.
now I was like day one and my it is like day 10-day trip and nothing planned for day two. So it was a hostel, and I was like, there is nobody. I went up to the cafeteria, it's a local place. There's nobody upstairs. I came back, I was just like, I had a roommate in my hostel. So I was just talking to her, like, how do I? It was her last day, my first day. Like, I was like completely like a bit down that what do I do now? How do I go anywhere? She was like,
Yeah.
wait for some time. We chilled in the room, talked more about it. She was very positive, like, don't worry, you will meet people, you will get to travel. And then
Yeah.
after some time, it was, I think, almost evening, like 7 p.m. or something. She's like, let's go together. We will try to talk to some people and see how it goes. So we went up. It was completely different atmosphere. It was completely filled with so many people. I don't know where they were before. And then I was like, now how do I select with who wants to travel or do
Yeah.
something? She took me, okay, you talk to the some manager over there. And she told the manager, like, she wants to travel, like, I want to travel so many places and she wants to go tomorrow, help her with it. He's like, you want to travel to this places tomorrow, right? Okay, he just told, these are the four people, all traveling solo, all planning
Wow.
to travel to the same place that you want to go, North Sikkim, East Sikkim. Just, and the car is, I am booking the car for them. I was looking all of them like, okay, it worked out. So my next 7 days was all planned. And like I said, it was cost effective because I had five other people with me to travel.
Yeah.
And yeah, being a girl, I had to still, think, is it safe or not? But I spoke with them, that I spent my dinner with them, and they were all such wonderful people coming from different backgrounds. And the next 7 days was like very good, I would say, very memorable.
Yeah.
And my, that humanity still exists was one of that trips was a learning because I met new people on that every
Yeah.
day.
One of the things I would like to mention here is like in general, people like, have this strong fear that if you're a girl and if you're stepping out and going for travel, it is an unsafe world out there. And then probably people are going to hurt you, harm you. And then, the perception changes, especially when you go for solo travel and especially if it happens within India, wherein like, girls usually do not tend to travel alone because there's a lot of unsafety towards women. But then I think once we do it and once we see like such experiences, once we see like the beautiful side of people, that's when the perspective changes. And again, like if it is outside India, like when we are in different cultures, when we are in different countries, how they help us, like instead of like we have this tendency, probably will face racism or like some discrimination, but then that doesn't happen. They tend to actually help us, like showing us, like as you said, like Google Translate or Google Map. And then it actually when they help, that's when the perception changes about like no, like the world is like everybody is nice, humanity exists. And it's not like that, some people have issues against us. We all are same, we all are one. So beautiful.
That is being a woman, be it India, outside India, you have to be cautious, on a solo trip. It's not going away that other countries are safe or India is safe. It's everywhere. You have to, we women are blessed with the sixth sense. We cannot explain, but there is some tingling that you get, and you have to listen to that. It's everything looks good, but somewhere you are feeling, oh, somewhere you feel conscious. You have to trust your instincts and just say flat outright no. I have had that experiences, not elaborating here, but obviously that should not stop you from traveling.
Nirali, like, do you have any destination that you feel is underrated and it needs more attention?
Definitely, it would be our home country, India, I think. Like, name any landscape, and India has it to offer, like mountains, beaches, deserts, spiritual towns, modern cities. We have it all. So the best part is like go to any state. It feels like a different country because it's had its own culture, own food, own different life. So I truly think India is one of the language definitely. Forget about it. Like, we have to use Google Translate in India as well. But yeah, I think it is very underrated, and I myself am yet to explore many places in India. But that is one like undivided answer.
So, how has the traveling, changed the perspective you see people, success, or cultures of different countries?
Hmm. Travel has given me a lot of perspective, I think unconsciously when I look back. So talking to people, they're coming from different backgrounds. I realize like we have similarities at the same time our differences are very beautiful. So it made me very open. Like, okay, there can be people with different opinions. That does not make me wrong or them wrong. It's just two views, two opinions. Just live with that. And I would say now for me success is not just titles or work. It's something like about balance, about joy, about feeling alive and living the moment. So yeah, that's about travel teaching me about people and culture.
Next question to you is: do you believe travel has the power to heal or transform a person?
Oof, too big. I think traveling can heal or transform people, but only if you are going there with an open mind. If you go there with your problems and just still worry about it, it's not going to help you at all. So you need to be open minded. You need to interact with people. You need to come out of your thoughts and live in the moment and experience the place. So for like you have gone there to travel like experience, so you are away from your work, your daily schedule. So that distance for me definitely helps me to you know just take time off, not stress about work, and just that just makes me feel lighter, I think. And when I come back, I come back with more energy. So I think for me and for anyone, traveling can definitely heal or transform you.
Okay. So, is there any travel ritual or any habit that you never forget to skip, no matter where you go?
Think it's a habit or a ritual as per se, but I love watching sunsets here or be it anywhere. So I try to make it a point I get to catch a sunset. Sunrise I avoid because I'm not an early riser, but I try to catch sunset wherever I am because I just in awe of Mother Nature with the colors in the clouds in the sky. So that just makes me slow down, enjoy where I am, enjoying a cup of tea or coffee, and just that just freezes like a frame in my mind wherever I go. So yeah,
That's beautiful. So you're a sunset person.
yeah, I try to be the sunrise person, but I'm just not able to wake up early.
Okay, that makes two of us. Okay.
True.
So, how do you manage professional and personal life? Like, how do you balance personal and professional life with constant movement?
I think it took some practice, some time. So I try to balance both. So when I'm working, I'm very focused with my work. So at the same time, when I'm on vacation, I don't check my mails. I don't check my teams. I'm like very much in the zone to enjoy the place where I am. So I just like to set boundaries. And I think you also, yeah, I know you also travel a lot with your work. So I think setting boundaries is something you'll have to manage with practice and time, and that way you don't feel overwhelmed with both managing both the things.
All right. So, what is the toughest part of being on the go?
eating healthy, I would say. So I'm a vegetarian. So finding good food or healthy food is a bit tough because I don't see myself a chef or a cook. So I don't plan to cook something healthy every time on the way. Like I'm always going out and exploring everything quickly to see all the places and tick off. So finding good food, not even healthy, just good vegetarian food which will fill my tummy. So that is something difficult because otherwise it's easy to, find a shortcut and eat some junk food like fries and chips. So being healthy so that your stomach is not upset on the remainder days. So yeah, food is something which I think is the toughest part to manage.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I can understand that. Although I can't relate because I'm a non-vegetarian, but I can understand that. It's a understanding or like thought process of some people that traveling is the easiest hobby. It's like you don't actually put in a lot of effort to learn something, to learn some skill. And then another thing is like people say they travel and they understand culture, but then when they asked about like let's say history in Europe or history in India, or or about politics or social rules of any country, they are not aware. So, what would you like to tell these people like two things? One, is it truly an easy hobby? And second, like when we say that we understand culture, do we really mean we are understanding history, social reforms, or politics, or we understanding people over there? So yeah.
Mm. Okay. So I don't, this travel can be an easy hobby for people who just don't do any research, book things and go to the place, click photos, Instagram worthy photos, and they are back. You ask them, why did you go to the XYZ place? Why did you visit something? They would not have an answer. So compared to that, like people who travel to explore, so they would know more about the place. Why did I select? What did I want to see? So traveling is something for an experience. It's not a skill per se कि travel करेंगे तो ये आ जाएगा हमें. नहीं. So you can be like after a lot of travel, you can help others give your feedback if you want to travel or something. But I don't think it's a skill hobby. Traveling is not a skill. I think it's an experience. You need to live it. And when we say culture, for me, culture is how do people in other countries or different backgrounds, how do they live their day-to-day life and what is different or what is their thoughts. For me, if I want to know history, politics, reforms, I just Google. I don't need to go to that place or travel or read any museum. I think that is freely available on the internet. You just read of the charts. I think even when I am traveling, people know what is India. We can search, but when I tell them about day-to-day festivals, what we do, how I eat, what is our principles or thoughts, I think it's very life changing. Not life changing, I would say some new perception that they get. They have some set perception about India, like I have some perception about Europeans or people from a different countries. But talking to people who are not film stars or politicians, I think just talking life day to day, I think that is something. When people talk about culture, it is that part. What is your day to day? How is it different from me? Is it similar from me? So is it similar but different in their own beautiful way? So I think that's my take on travel being a skill or a hobby and on the culture.
I truly believe, like, like as you gave an example of India and Europe, I would like to give an example of America, right? Like before coming to America, the kind of people I had around me, there was a certain mindset that this certain sort of lifestyle is being followed in America, or by American families. But then when I came here, I made American friends. I realized they are very much similar as us. They have a lot of family values. They have they're very disciplined at work. So it's very similar, and that's what makes me able to be such good friends with Americans, right? And that mindset changes when you are actually start talking to people and staying with them or like interacting with them with open mindset. It's not like we are not coming from judgmental mindset, with open mindset. and then you understand this part of the culture, like the lifestyle, the daily life, and then you
Not
see
influenced from the movies.
not influence from the books, Google, as you said, history, social reforms, politics, or anything, and you just accept them as they are, as another humans, and then you realize we all are one. We are very similar. So yeah, thank you for giving that response. Completed segment one, and now we'll move to segment two, wherein I'll be asking, like, I ask the same questions to all my guests in segment two, but then every guest has different life story in 20s, right? So they get to share something different, and that makes our answers interesting for our audience to hear. And so, yeah, let's start the segment two with you. How do you stay motivated when things don't go your way? Like in your 20s, there would have been situations when things did not go according to what you wanted. So, how did you stay motivated, and how did you like keep going when things didn't happen according to your own wish?
I think one thing is when I'm not motivated means I'm feeling down. So I would instantly first eat something with sugar. I don't know what is the chemical science behind it, but if I eat some chocolate dessert or cold coffee with sugar, it just brings some positiveness in me. And then I sit back, understand the situation, assess what needs to be done. And the last option is to call my mom or few of my friends who are like, they just know and I can just rely on them to like cheer me up. So that is what I have been doing and it's working for me. So touch wood. So food and friends help you when things don't go your way. I think just talking. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sort of letting out, sharing your emotion and venting out emotions that helps heal and feel relaxed. Oh, that's a great thing. So, in your 20s, did you implement any habit? It could be a small habit that made a big difference in your daily life. The thing is, I'm yet to start exercising. So that change I'm yet to see. But apart from that, I think drinking water day, like in a day, a lot of water is one thing which has changed compared to what I used to do in the past. I don't know if it helps you a lot in as an answer, but it is one small habit like drink a lot of water. Like even if you are like sometimes when you are low on energy or feeling down, drink water. You have not drank water throughout the day. So, yeah, that is one small habit I can just remember right now, but nothing fancy. Something I struggled throughout my teenagers, throughout my 20s, that I don't drink a lot of water. That really helped me while traveling because I didn't need washroom as much as other people need. But but yeah, like that's like a great habit to learn. I mean, I should learn like very as fast as possible. Actually, consuming water regularly and frequently. So great. So, if you get the chance to talk to 19-year-old Nirali again, so and if you want to give her some advice, like to live her 20s differently, what advice would you be giving that 19-year-old Nirali? I've always thought of this. Like if I had a chance to go back to my younger self. Yeah. So I think it would be to take more risk and indulge in different experiences because back then I was very much surrounded like with my parents' perception of the world steady, no party, not like parties okay, but steady, good grades, study for the next term then. So instead of that, I would like to experience traveling more or going out of my comfort zone. So that is something I did much later in the life. So having a good head start would have helped me where I am today. So yeah, that is one of the top things I would tell my younger self, and also learn finance, learn about investing at a younger age. That would have been helpful. I think that's a great advice, like sort of taking risks, taking chances, and that helps us like not having any regrets in life. And second, yeah, learning about finance. I think that should actually come to our education system as soon as possible because it helps. Because
That's like really, really is required in our adult life, right? Like how to sort of manage your finances and do investments. It was a heavy segment wherein sort of we reflected on your life lessons that you learned in your 20s. Now let's move little towards the fun segment and lighten the entire mood of the the podcast. Here I'll be asking some light-hearted questions to you, and I'm expecting some funny replies, which makes us laugh. Okay. This segment, we I share like some drinks with my guest. It could be tea, coffee, or any beverage. So I have got my coffee with me here. I hope that you have also gotten some drink.
The drink you sent from Seattle, so I have it here. Oh,
Wow, amazing! Cheers. That's a great one. That's a great one. My first question to you would be, what's your go-to comfort food at 2 a.m. at night?
oh, it's an easy one. Like right now, just you said, it would be cold coffee or a good sandwich because it's simple to make and very quick. Initially, it was Maggie, but we need to now stick to the healthy food. So yeah, cold coffee and some good sandwich.
Let's say if your life had a background song, what would that song be?
A song. I think song which I relate to or resonate more with is the Ilahi song from Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. Don't ask me to sing it at all. I think that song, it just is, I think it's a feeling of constant exploration, curiosity, discovering new places. It's like the soundtrack of any travel journey, like full of adventure. So I think that would go like a good background song for any movie on me. Thank you for proving that I have chosen the right guest to talk on travel topics. If somebody gets to play a character on your life in a movie, who would that person be? Kriti Senon would be a good person to play. I think I see her as a person who's full of energy and cheerful. So, and that really matches with like I am always up for a new experience. I think she is an engineer, studious. So yeah, I think she would be a good person to play me if there was ever a movie on my life. Yeah, I think this is the podcast I'm having with my guest, and probably I might release this as fourth or the fifth episode. But I have seen that out of four, two people have answered Preeti Senon. So I think she is getting more popularity in the recent times. So I had this question. Let's say if you get to describe yourself to somebody and you can only use three smileys, three emoticons. What would those three emoticons be? One would be that laughing with tears. Yeah. Laughing with tears, like you're laughing so hard, like definitely laughing so hard. One would be the mischievous with the tongue out, like that, mischievous that's also. Good one. Anything it looks good also. Yeah. And the third one would be one smiley with sleeping, like because I like to take power naps, sleep anywhere. If I have nothing to do, I just sleep. So the third smiley would be me sleeping and then zzz. Yeah. Those are interesting replies. Yeah. Great, great, great ones. Congratulations. You have passed the episode. I mean, we have come to the end of segment 3, and with that we have come to the end of episode 4 or 5. I'm not really sure where I'll be putting this. But then it's fine. It's amazing. So before ending the episode, I have just two small questions for you. So the first one would be, so what is that one thing that can make you instantly happy? On my own, I think I'll eat, like I said, some chocolate dessert. If I'm with people, I think time. I think anybody spending or giving their time with me would be like, give me their attention. Yeah. Wow, amazing. So I think when you came to Seattle, I gave you time, so I'm really happy. Yeah, yeah, that gives me such a nice feeling that okay, I could make somebody happy by giving time. Question would be like, do you have any message for our audience or for the show or for myself, like for me? Advice is very simple. Like explore more, worry less, take risk, go out of your comfort zone. Life is just too short and you don't need to wait for a perfect moment to do XYZ thing. Just take a step and do it, even if it's something small. The and the world is full of kind people, so don't worry a lot. Just go and do it. Yeah, I think that would be my advice.
You so much for giving your time and coming for this podcast and sharing all your knowledge and experiences regarding travel. Some of them had been like so interesting, and it would be like really helpful and something new for our audience to learn. So that's great, and I really hope you keep continuing your journey, you keep traveling more, and you keep like exploring more countries, more cultures, and then probably I'll have another episode with you soon, and where we get to hear some different stories and different perspectives. Maybe I'll have different set of questions then, and I'll try to extract things like unsaid, untold, unheard things about Nirali's trips and travels, and we get to share that with the world. So thank you so much.
I think I owe thanks to you for having like for my first podcast is because you plan to do something out of your daily life, something out of your routine, like some stories of daily people and getting it out. Yeah. So I think thanks for you. I know it takes a lot of time to prep for this call. Then after post editing, you have to do things and then plan for the reels. So I think that is something you're doing commendable. I think, and even I think just for me, when I had to talk to you, I was so excited. Okay, I'll talk about X, Y, Z things. I was like just having those thoughts throughout the day and today when we are doing the recording. So I think thanks to you for taking this up, and I hope you have many such episodes and we go continue with the seasons. So yeah, all the best and looking forward to the next round.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would like to really share. Like, this is my fifth episode, probably, and the best part about the entire podcasting experience is the conversation that I'm having with the guest. Yeah, it's like the kind of answers I'm not anticipating, and I'm like, wow, oh, this is I had not thought about this person. Although I know the person, but I did not know this part of their life, and probably for the first time I'm hearing. And those surprises and then the kind of discussion, it's so fulfilling. And that's the best part about podcast.
Nirali, thank you for taking us through your world, the stories and the wisdom that the travel has shaped in you. Your journey reminds us that every trip is more than a destination. It's actually a mirror that shows a new version of ourselves and shows that the world is beautiful and humanity still exists. To everyone watching this episode, I hope you took away the inspiration that I did. This is the Sunday Sit Down, and I'm your host, Subhi. Until next time, keep learning, keep seeking, and keep discovering the world around you. Bye bye.